Well, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Local Ear Podcast. Today is, as you know already, the title of this episode is Issue 1. We're going to be talking about the Local Ear magazine, of course, the new reboot, Local Ear magazine. This one came out in 2021, so it has been out for a while, but we wanted to, or I should say I wanted to have a episode about each issue. So we've got a podcast episode that accompanies the issue, the magazine, that will help people understand why they need to have this. This thing is only in print. These articles are not printed on the internet elsewhere. The whole concept is to have an in-print magazine. I even hesitated to start this podcast, but there needs to be this digital integration between that. But this podcast is about the magazine and other things in between, things that happen in between magazines, because obviously the magazine doesn't come out but 4 times a year at this point. So it is a special thing for real. And but there is something about getting a in-print subscription magazine coming in your mailbox. Tangible products in the music world are something that we kind of got to fight for. In some way. There's a lot of different opinions on things, but I'm certain that we will always need some sort of tangible product to sustain being artists. So that's what this magazine's about. It is about more about timeless content, but and time stamping things. But anyway, it is a magazine. You can subscribe to it for $20 a year and get the 4 magazines. Of course, a year subscription is 4 magazines, however they come out. And the whole reason we started this podcast is because it has been a long time since the magazine. It's an independently run type thing. Right now, it's about 25 pages. However, this first issue started off a lot less than that. It was very thin. We, in fact, I reached out to a lot of places. Just to kind of sum it up, and if you've been listening, you know this, but we have subscribers in 12 states. It's very small pockets spread out. So we're not a national publication, but we're not a local regional either. We are something in between. So there's that. So that's unique, but we weren't taken very seriously when the first one came out. And issue 1 was highly circulated because we had just begun, and we were trying to build a subscriber base at that time. We had started the concept, and we had a handful of people. We put out the internet, the website. You can subscribe if you want to get in on board on this. The website is localearmagazine.com. Simple, there's nothing there other than, hey, subscribe to the magazine. So people laughed at that. It worked out for us. We got a decent thing happening just using some online advertisements. People obviously were very excited about an in-print magazine that covers these artists that are not getting, they need to be exposed. They're at a place where they are in the same boat that the magazine is. They are in other places further than just their local and regional area. They are going places. Some of these musicians and artists are even internationally touring, but they're not everywhere. They're not household names. They don't have a giant corporation behind them pushing them, but they're out there doing it. Some of them, many of them are full-time. Some of them are, weekend warriors. But these people are producing content. They're making music. They're putting it out, some of it in digital form. Some of them are, not on digital. Some of them are exclusively on Bandcamp. Some of them are using YouTube as a medium. Some of them still do only talk about, putting out CDs and stuff. But these people need a place. There needs to be a place, and to my knowledge, there is not a place other than the Local Ear magazine. Now, I'm sure there's some stuff out there probably, but as far as an in-print zine that covers basically independent, unknown artists that are actually producing music, and some of them are, full-time and, like I said, getting out there doing it, this is the only place that I know of. So there's that. Issue 1 came out, like I said, in all of its glory. It featured Paul Brewer on the cover. We started at our home base is in a small town in Nevada, Missouri. It's in Missouri. That's where we are located. And just to kind of give you some backstory on this, the magazine is, I claim to be the circulations manager is what I said. We do have an editor. She is not an employee. She just has a passion for it, and she helps out. And we had a little team of some other people, and we've always had that. Prior to the reboot of this, we did a localized version of this, only local. And it was photocopied. It was totally small time, but wanted to do the same thing. If you've listened to the episodes, you'll know like what we've done. You'll figure all that out. I don't want to tell that entire story because it's going to get too long. This episode is really about this issue, number one, so I want to go into that. But I would encourage you to listen to the other episodes. And really, to get in it, there's an ongoing article inside there, and I'll tell you about that. It was not, I don't believe it was in this first issue, but we brought it back right away. A second issue, it was something that I used to write in my, what I call the Local Ear magazine 1.0. This is the reboot 2.0, whatever, however you want to call it. This one has a color cover, and the other one was, like I said, black and white photocopies. Stapled together. This one, however, is stapled together, but it's stapled together properly. Sometimes the other one was a little messy. This one is done in a formalized print shop, and it is stapled, cropped, and all that good stuff. It looks like a magazine should, just has fewer pages than anything, national type big circulation magazine. So there you go. On the cover of this magazine, Paul Brewer. He was from not Fort Scott, but he was from Kansas, Uniontown, Kansas, where he graduated. Then he moved off to Colorado after he went to school. He went to school at Berkeley, and he is an interesting guy. He opened up a music store in Nevada, Missouri. He's on the cover there, playing a instrument that I couldn't tell you what it's called. It's a unique stringed instrument. It's kind of cool. There's some news briefs on there. Then there was an article from our rock writer who lives in Joplin, Missouri. His name is Jeremy Wiltsey, and he wrote a local rock news review, which he covered bands that were, regional bands, basically, he talks about. And Smile Empty Soul, I think they might have even had some songs out. Anyway, they were in the area, so Smile Empty Soul, Tantric, and Parlandria were the ones he talks about. There's also some mention here, an article, a little, not an article really, but just a little plug for the Blackthorn Pizza and Pub in Joplin, Missouri. There was an article about Paul and his Woodshed Music Store. Then there was an article from Molly Healy, and she's in the Springfield, Missouri area. You should look her up. She does a number of things. She plays in some bands and has some solo stuff out. Check her out. There was an interview with Bob Voss. Bob Voss is also in the Springfield area. He is with the nonprofit organization SAMI, which is the Springfield area music industry, and it was an interesting article. They've got some cool stuff they're doing down there. There was a few events mentioned in this article, or in this issue. There was some, there was a feature article on Dominique, or you would pronounce her name, Dominique Gabriella. She has a thing on the scene, which is powered by the SAMI, the nonprofit organization there in Springfield. Anyway, I got some pictures of her doing interviews with Brandon Moore, Justin Larkin, and Krista Meadows. All some names you should check out that are in the Springfield Branson areas where their hubs are, and that's exciting. Kind of an exciting scene down there. So we were a little bit close to home with that. It was kind of all centered around Missouri, and we weren't sure when that one come out. How far are we going to go? I was just doing stuff in the region. I did not realize that we were going to get subscribers so far away, and that it was going to kind of take a different direction than I kind of expected, and suddenly, and it was cool. So that was exciting, and that was issue 1. I still have some prints of issue 1, so if you'd like a copy of issue 1, we sell our reissues, reissue magazines. We simply sell them for $10 each. However, there's not like a point button for that. You would have to email us. Just email me, and we'd work out. We have a Cash App or something like that you could use to exchange with. Actually, we have a pay portal, so I could send you a link to the pay portal. So it'd be pretty easy. You could do that. $10. It would be your shipping and handling and everything. We would put the magazine in there. It's an original run. Like I said, these are not. There's no reissues of this. We printed a ton of this first magazine. Because we were really using them as promotions. We were going to shows. We were handing them out. We were trying to get our name out again. And it was exciting, but there was still a lot. Anyway, there's not a whole lot left, but, we've probably got in the office back issues place, we've probably got 100 or so issues, copies left. But still, it was very limited on the first run in comparison to, say, like Rolling Stone or something like that. But if you'd like one of those, like I said, any of our issues, as far as I know, I have every one. We've only done with the new ones. I think we're getting ready to be on issue. I think we're going to be at issue 11. I think we have 10 issues out, if I'm right. I could be wrong, but I believe we've got 10 issues, and I believe I've got extra copies of each one. Some of these first ones, other than the first one, we had lots of it, but issue number 2, I have very few of those. So if you want an issue 2, I'll tell you more about that, but there's very few of those left. All right, that was today's episode, and that's what we had to talk about. Issue 1 of Local Ear, and we'll probably have something else before we talk about issue 2, and we might even get to the newest issue before we get through all these, hopefully. It is in production and has been for some time. It's going to be a fantastic magazine. So get on the list, get subscribed at localearmagazine.com so you can get this imprint gem that we produce. It is labor of love, and it's exciting to be involved in music scenes throughout 12 states. That's today's show.